I'll be honest, I don't really have a ton of words to say right now, other than the fact that, yeah, this is the type of game in which you do overreact. You know, we talked about this in the last game in which the Bulls got blown out by the Pacers, how that isn't a game to overreact to because the Bulls didn't match up well against their bigs, especially without Vucevic and Caruso. It also being a back-to-back game, just coming off a long road trip, that in reality, it wasn't a surprising loss. But this game on the other hand, this is a horrible loss on so many fronts, and really there aren't any excuses that you can make for this team. You're talking about losing against a team that had one win all season, one win. They were on a 15-game losing streak and clearly on a tanking path. They may not even win 10 games this whole season, and the Bulls laid an egg when coming into Houston. Unacceptable loss. Sure, give the Rockets credit. They actually showed up well tonight, and even when the Bulls went on runs, they bounced back and responded, and despite being a young and inexperienced team, they fought through and got a win. Now, I know there was a bad call there at the end in which Lonzo Ball hit a three with, I believe it was about 5 minutes left to go in the game, and the refs called an offensive foul on Lonzo for kicking out his leg, which is clearly, it was not an offensive foul, and one of the worst calls I have ever seen all season, especially given the fact that it was challenged and they still did not overturn the call. I was honestly beside myself how they blatantly missed that one and decided to keep the call as is. And of course, that completely shifted the Bulls' momentum. The Rockets came back and sank a three on the other end, making it a 6-point swing. Like, really, that call likely changed the outcome of this game. But either way, this call or not, the Bulls shouldn't have even been close enough into this situation to where a call like that in the fourth quarter can change the result of winning or losing. Like, this should have been a blowout win. I'm sorry. Throughout this game, I thought, well, this is a sloppy game. The Bulls aren't playing with energy. They're missing easy shots, but hey, they'll eventually get it together. They'll come out strong in the second half. Like, there is no way that they're going to lose to a 1-16 Rockets team. There just isn't any way. Then the third quarter came around, and still, the Bulls, although they made some runs to give them small leads here and there, they let the Rockets outscore them 35-18. 35-18. That quarter was the difference maker in this game because even though the Bulls were within reach by the fourth quarter, the momentum was completely on the Rockets' side by then. But then I thought, well, we all know the Bulls are a fourth quarter team. The Kings in the fourth of Lavine and Dosunmu, they will show up, and with their experience and their closing mindset, they'll be too much for this young Rockets team to handle. And in fact, the opposite happened. The Rockets kept playing competitively, and even though the Bulls went on a little run to get close there towards the end, they ultimately blew it, and any run that they did have in them was just a little too late. The other thing about giving the Rockets that kind of insane third quarter run is that not only do they have the momentum going into the fourth quarter, but they know because they have lost 15 games in a row, all of the pressure is on the Bulls to not lose the game. Because no one wants to be the first team that ends their losing streak, especially a better team like the Bulls, who is at the top of the Eastern Conference. As a team, you can say that they use that to their advantage, knowing that they're playing with house money, that they don't have a ton to lose, and they rode with that. And you know what made this loss worse is the fact that not only did the Bulls have Vucevic and Caruso back, so aside from Patrick Williams, the team was fully healthy, but one of the Rockets' better players in Jalen Green went out with an injury after only 11 minutes into the game. The Bulls let Daniel House Jr. light them up tonight from the bench. Like, I barely even know who that guy is. Like, literally half of the Rockets team I've never seen before. But look, here's the thing. As much as I want to hold the players accountable for this loss, and they should, don't worry, I'll get to them in a little bit, but this loss sits squarely on Billy Donovan. Like, in my mind, Billy, which probably the rest of the team did as well, chalked this game up to an easy win. Didn't do their due diligence on the scouting report, didn't study film, and didn't assess matchups properly because they probably thought, meh, we don't really need to. Like, this is still a professional basketball team. You can't take any team lightly in this league. And obviously, this is me speculating. I really don't know. I don't have any idea what kind of prep work the coaching staff did going into this game. But based on what we saw in the game, the Bulls didn't look prepared at all. It's like they just thought that they would out-talent this team and get a win. They were lost on offense for a good portion of the game. They were missing assignments on defense. They looked completely lethargic without any energy, no hunger or desire to compete in this game. And yes, that's on the players. They have to be motivated enough to want to come out and compete no matter who the opponent is. But that starts with the coach. Getting into the guys when they start missing their assignments, working on matchups, studying film of the other team, taking guys out when they aren't playing hard. And the rotations tonight from Billy Donovan, in my opinion, didn't make a ton of sense. A guy like Io, who was playing well tonight, and one of the few players that brought energy on the court, Billy Donovan only puts him in for 17 minutes, and in my view, gave Coby too many minutes when he just simply wasn't playing smart basketball. Derrick Jones Jr. didn't see a lot of run on the court tonight either. Tony Bradley only played 2 minutes. Like, the Bulls have Vucevic back now, and the Bulls still went way too small for a good portion of this game when Vucevic was on the bench. Give Bradley some of those minutes back, because he actually was decent coming off the bench for the Bulls in that role. What's funny is that you had two absolutely incredible dunks tonight by Javonte Green and Dosunmu that will now probably just get completely overlooked because of this bad loss, one of which was an incredible poster by Io that I didn't even know he had in him. But anyway, yes, I do put most of the blame of this loss on Billy Donovan, but at the same time, you also have to hold the players accountable, and it starts with your leaders. DeRozan, although he had 7 assists and was the only player who was a plus in the box plus minus category, he did not shoot the ball well tonight. Took some bad shots when trying to take over the game, and his effort on the defensive end tonight was piss poor. The same kind of goes for Lavine, although he played much better, especially on offense, than DeRozan did. But again, some of those hero ball shots from Lavine at inopportune times of the game just continue. Whether he hits them or not, it usually doesn't translate to the Bulls playing well when those two guys are playing that type of basketball. Lonzo Ball actually had a very solid game after putting up a goose egg in the previous one. He shot the ball very well, had 5 rebounds and 5 assists, and played solid defense. And Alex Caruso also played an incredible game coming off the bench, coming up with some big plays at the end where it looked like the Bulls might make a run for the win. Vucevic, though, not the best night, although he did have a couple of clutch threes, but not the best night for him. He also missed a lot of easy shots at the beginning of the game. You can tell he's a little rusty after recovering from COVID. Just really unfortunate because he was finally starting to get the swing of things before going out due to the health and safety protocol, and you're likely going to see him be rusty for another week or so. Anyway, I guess I did have more to say than I thought, but look, I can't make any excuses for this team, unlike in the last one. This is actually a game that, as fans, we should be overreacting to. Now, does it matter likely in the long run? Probably not, because it still just stands as one loss in the standings, but do the Bulls need to wake up after a loss like this, especially coming off a blowout loss against the Pacers? Absolutely, and hopefully this is the kind of loss this Bulls team needs to send them a message that, yeah, you got off to a good start to the season. You were proving all the doubters wrong. But it's a long season, you can't get complacent, and you have to come ready to compete every night no matter who the opponent is. That's what great teams do, and if they want to be a great team, they have to change that mentality. Anyway, guys, I'm going to take tomorrow off, not only because it's Thanksgiving, but I just need a break from the Bulls for a moment. I'll be back on Friday for the Bulls game against the Magic, which hopefully, please God, hopefully the Bulls put together a bounce-back win against another bad team. As always, guys, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.